Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. We're very excited to have you join our 8th workshop in our Get Engaged Alumni Speaker Series. My name is Shadan Nassar, and I'm the program coordinator for the Get Engaged Alumni Initiative. And today I'm joined by a special guest, our distinguished Get Engaged alum from this year's conference, Ibaad Ullah Durrani. And we will be hosting Ibaad for a workshop titled Empowering You Through Education and Community Engagement. So we're very excited to learn from Ibaad's extensive experience. We're very excited to learn from also the project that Ibaad is overseeing and just to give you a little bit more of a background about the workshop, this workshop will highlight strategies to inspire and mobilize young people, particularly in regions with limited resources. And the focus will be on community-based initiatives, the role of education and youth empowerment, and practical ways to create lasting change. And before I give the floor to Ibaad, I would like to introduce Ibaad for all of you. Ibaad is the founder and director of the Afghans for Afghans Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering Afghan girls through education. With years of experience as an English instructor and content development specialist, he has worked on several educational projects supporting Afghan students, including those backed by the EU. His expertise spans teaching English as a second language, curriculum development, and content creation. And in this upcoming workshop, Ibaad will focus on inspiring the next generation of Afghan leaders through education and community engagement. So welcome again, everyone, and special thanks to Ibaad for leading this inspiring workshop. If you have any questions at any point of the workshop, please feel free to include them in the chat box below, and we will be sure to get back with answers towards the end of the session. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Ibaad.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Shadeen, for the wonderful introduction. It's very nice to be back on one of OSUN platforms. OSUN is a place that has nurtured me a lot throughout the past year and throughout my college experience. My university experience has been great with OSUN, having taken courses and certificate programs with OSUN. So as Shadeen said, my name is Ibaad Ullah Durrani. Currently, I'm located in Qatar, Doha, and I'm a senior business administration student at the American University of Afghanistan. Perhaps I'll be graduating next semester, inshallah. We have, as Shadeen said, this workshop is aimed at talking about developing initiatives for empowering youth, especially in underserved communities. So all the participants in here, I'm sure most of us come from very humble backgrounds and underserved communities. And I think that is what connects us. That is what makes us relevant to each other, no matter our ethnic background, no matter our religious background, no matter our color, race. We all are relevant to each other because most of us come from very underserved communities. And it does not matter where in the world we come from. Even if you're in the United States of America, you still can come from an underserved community and population. Today, as we are here, we will be connecting to each other based on that premise. So our workshop today, I would prefer to call it a discussion. So our discussion today will have two parts. The first part will be me talking about my foundation, the Afghans for Afghans Foundation, because it's relevant to the discussion that we're going to have in a few minutes. So as you all know, and as Shadeen said, we are I am a Get Engaged alum. So back in June, we had a wonderful conference where tens of people participated from a lot of countries in the world. I was not lucky enough to go to Berlin to participate in it in person, but I was lucky enough to participate in it online. And it was such a wonderful cohort, a cohort of people, visionary people, you know, simple as that. People in the same age group as me, presenting those wonderful ideas they had, talking about education, talking about community building, talking about civic engagement. And it was such an inspiring journey for me. Although it was very short, it was such an inspiring journey for me. Through in the conference, we had to present a project or an idea that we have implemented in the past. So my idea was called the Afghans for Afghans Foundation. I come from Afghanistan. As you all know, Afghanistan is a South Asian country. We have had decades of conflict in our country, and I can proudly say that I come from a very humble background. So let me share my screen. And Shadeen, if you could please confirm whether you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, Ibaad.
All right, so you see the Afghans for Afghans Foundation logo, right?
No, we see the other PowerPoint call to action.
All right, let me change it. So
Yes.
let me. Okay, so I hope you can see it now.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, so in unity we thrive. This motto is very personal to me. So I'll start right by offering our mission statement. So the Afghans for Afghans Foundation is dedicated to empowering Afghan girls through education, fostering a supportive environment for their personal and academic growth. So let me give you some background here. In August 2021, to be exact, on 15th of August 2021, the Afghan Republic government, it fell into the hands of people who do not want girls to be educated. And since that time, since 15th August 2021 till today, millions of Afghan girls, millions, literally millions of Afghan girls do not have access to getting a formal education. And this can be in the form of getting primary education or secondary education or higher education or even tertiary education. I know people who were at the brink of finishing their degrees. I know a friend of mine whose sister was going to finish her medical degree, and it was only one semester left, and she could not complete it, and she's still waiting for her to be permitted to go to medical school and complete her degree. As you all know, medical degree is not as easy as it sounds to get, and imagine reaching that point and somebody tells you, no, you're not allowed to go and complete that degree. This shattered the dreams of millions of Afghans, and not just the girls, their families. There are girls who are the sole supporters of their family, who provide financial provision to their families, and now they cannot. So this has created chaos. This has created social turbulence, if I may, in Afghanistan and millions of families. And I can confidently say that practically every family is affected by it. Now, what does Afghans for Afghans Foundation do? After August 2021, so as Shadeen said, I have years of experience in teaching English as a foreign language in Afghanistan. I taught English to kids. I taught English to university level students. I taught English to the members of parliament of Afghanistan. So having that years of experience in teaching English, I thought, why not use it? Because English is the key to international education, to availing international opportunities. The other day, I read a paper in which it said that almost 95% of research papers, almost 95% of the research that is done in the world today is published in English. So if you don't know English, you do not have access to that world of research, to that world of opportunities that lies ahead of you. And as a non-English speaking country, Afghanistan is predominantly people predominantly speak Pashto and Farsi or Dari in Afghanistan. It's really important for us to learn English. So I thought let's make a space, if I may, through which we can educate girls when it comes to English. So initially, a group of volunteer teachers, including me, we started this initiative. We would arrange classes through Google Meet. It's very easy to access with a very slow bandwidth. You can access it, and a lot of students can join at one time. There's no special technical cost associated with it, so that was the benefit. And we started teaching them English classes, beginner level. Then we had intermediate, and then we had advanced level classes. But later on, as the problem of not allowing young girls to get educated in Afghanistan deepened, we thought about expanding our range of courses that we were offering previously. So currently, we offer English and TOEFL classes. So I'm sure most of you know, as non-native speakers of English, TOEFL is the test of English as a foreign language. And if you want to continue your higher education in a US university or many universities across the globe, you have to have a valid score on this test. So it's really important. We also offer, luckily, we have a group of voluntary volunteers who teach computer courses, basic computer stuff like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, internet, how to access the internet and stuff like that. We have digital literacy sessions, very important for everyone in this world, especially people like me and you, people from the underserved communities. The internet is a world of opportunities. It's a world of knowledge. But the problem is a lot of us do not have, until now, I don't consider myself fully digitally literate, because there are many things that I'm missing on. If there's a book I love, I can, and let's say I don't have the money to buy it, or maybe I don't have access to buy that book. Still, there are places on the internet where you can find that book, and you can at least read it online, the PDF version. And there are people who do not know about these websites, who do not know about, although this can be digital theft, still, there are many opportunities that people are missing on. And as a person coming from such a community, I want our community members to know about these opportunities. We also offer soft skills development sessions, things like public speaking, things like communication, teamwork, stuff like that. We also do some educational consulting nowadays, talking about how to apply to US universities in UK and stuff like that. Also, I've connected students with donors. The other day, I connected one of my students with a donor who, so that student had luckily got the student visa to the UK, and he did not have enough money to buy a ticket. So I connected him with one of my friends in the US from Texas, and she bought the ticket for him. And this is what we have been doing for the past couple of years. So I'd shortly talk about our impact. We've educated hundreds of young women, and they've benefited from our classes and other services. So there are challenges connected with this, and this is really important to what we're going to do later today. and I'll explain how later on. So the main challenges, we got three challenges right now. We have internet issues. Afghanistan is a country with very limited internet resources. We're very far from getting that bandwidth that we usually get in the West or the GCC countries. So that's one of the biggest issues. A lot of students, they keep joining and connecting and disconnecting, connecting and disconnecting. So that's the biggest issue. And honestly, we're looking into ways to find um, logical solutions, but this is an issue that needs assistance from the international community, from the people who can do something about it. And this is way bigger than us, but this is a challenge that exists on ground. And as youngsters, as people who have a mind to think about solving such issues, we have to find ways to deal with it. Time constraints, the instructors that we have right now, including me and my other friends, they all of them have obviously full-time jobs, or they have a life, you know. So that's one of the constraints that we have, uh, to ask people to teach for free or to work for you for free, and then ask for their time, for their valuable time. But we're dealing with it, and so far we're good. We also have financial limitations, so we do not use a lot of funds to keep this organization, this foundation running. We do not need a lot of funds, but there are certain limitations. A lot of students ask us for help. For example, they cannot they cannot afford internet. Afghanistan is one of those countries, unlucky countries, where internet is very expensive, and that's one of the limitations that we have. So, does anyone have any question regarding what I do, what we do here, before I jump into the next part of the workshop, the discussion? So I guess we're good. Let me share my screen again. So Shadeen, you can see the other
Yes,
one, right?
yes, yes.
All right, good. So there's a quote I've written down here. Can you read it out loud, please, Shadeen, to everyone?
Sure. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet.
So I want everyone to guess who this quote belongs to. I'm sure you might have come across it somewhere. Who do you think it belongs to? Does anybody know?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I can say it's belong to me because I say we are living in Bangladesh now currently. Many people being as a refugee here, and also so much challenging, and also a struggling day by day to get education into higher education access. So yeah, it's a big, bitter. We can say the route of getting education at the formal place in anywhere, getting into any university, it's so challenging, also struggling, and also not allowed for the student, also for the people, for the Rohingya refugee in Bangladesh. So yeah, it's bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Yeah, well, they after struggling, after doing hard work, if they got any, if they can complete somehow by struggling, then they can get a better job or something else. So the fruit is sweet. That's what I can say. It's belong to someone else.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You connected this quote very beautifully to what Bangladesh is going through right now, and I'm very well aware of it. And kudos to you guys. This quote belongs to Aristotle. He said it in one of his texts. And I connect very deeply to this quote, and I've led my professional life in education, and education is very personal to me. So I would love to talk a little about this quote. So I've broken it down into two pieces. We have the bitter roots section of the quote, and we have the sweet fruit. So it sounds very metaphorical, very simple. Um, the bitter roots represent the struggles, the hard work, and the discipline required in the learning process. All of us are educated people, and we know how difficult it is to get a formal education, no matter where you are in the world, especially in underserved communities. The financial struggles that you have to go through as a kid growing up. I had to see my parents struggling to pay for my tuition, struggling to pay for my uniform, struggling to pay for my shoes, stuff like that. That's the bitter roots. The hard work. I spent 14 years of my life in high school, and 2 years along with that the college, and then it's my fourth year in university. There's a lot of hard work involved with that, and there's discipline. You wake up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. every morning. You have to go to school, then come back at 1 or 2, do your homework, get prepared for exams, for the midterms, for the finals, for the quizzes, for the tests. There's a lot of discipline involved with it. And I think all of us deserve praise. All of us deserve appreciation for going through the bitter roots of the education, for staying resilient, for staying strong throughout the years. So there is one paradox that always baffles me, and I usually think about it, and I usually talk to my friends about it, and that is, let's say we live for 70 years, and then you spend 30 years, almost 30 or 35 years of your life, 50% of your life educating yourself. And as you all know, until you get a PhD or a graduate degree, you're not able to earn money on the level that you want, and even after that, you have to continuously strive towards becoming a better professional version of yourself to earn the money that you want. So why do this? Why should we become? Why should we spend half our lives getting educated, and then the results, you don't see a lot of results from the point of view of people who do not like education, who do not like people like us. You all see people like Andrew Tate. They do not want us to get educated. There are things about such people I agree with, but such people also downplay the role of education in a society. So let's talk about the sweet fruit part of education. So the sweet fruit in this quote symbolizes the benefits, such as success, wisdom, and growth. We live in a world where we rely so much on our forefathers, our ancestors. Imagine our forefathers are the people who are in the past did not get a formal education or were not educated enough. Do you think we would have the life that we have right now? Do you think we would have airplanes to fly in? Do you think we would have cars? Do you think we would have electric power? I don't think so. So as an educated person, the odds are that you will be a very successful person. Doctors are very successful, engineers are successful, writers are successful, computer scientists are successful. That's the sweet fruit of education that you get. Wisdom, a lot of wisdom comes with education. And as a PhD scholar, I meet with PhD scholars on a regular basis here in our student dormitories. They're so wise, and I'm sure that wisdom comes from education. There's also professional growth and academic growth involved with education that a lot of people downplay. So in today's discussion, empowering youth through education and community engagement, our goal is to explore strategies to empower youth through education and community involvement. So all of us here are youngsters. Can you all please, in the chat box, quickly write your age so that I know I have an idea of what age group we belong to? If you're comfortable, obviously. Okay, so 20. 19, all right. 26. Welcome, Zar. It's very nice to see you here. All right, so I think all of us, we are in the same age group that usually we have on university applications, 18 to 26, you know. So let me quickly go back there. So we are the youth of our communities, you know, and I know financially we might not be able to assist our fellow citizens or our fellow community members in whatever hardship they're going through. I'm sure most of us might not be able to do a lot when it comes to financial aspects. But there are things that we can do to change our communities, and today we will talk about them. So I would love to keep Afghanistan here in the picture as a case study for all of us, you know. Having coming from Afghanistan, I know a lot about the societal challenges in Afghanistan, the general societal traditions in Afghanistan and how things work in Afghanistan. So let's keep that as a case study for us. So the importance of youth empowerment in Afghanistan. So Afghan youth, and as I've written here, especially girls, they're facing a lot of challenges. And as I talked about it earlier, since August 15, 2021, they do not have access to a formal education. So it's a crisis. It's a crisis for the youth, not just girls, but also for the gentlemen. But despite all these challenges, the resilience that the Afghan girls and the Afghan youth are showing, it's magnificent. And this comes from firsthand experience. I still, as I said earlier, through my foundation and through the American University of Afghanistan, I have taught Afghan girls in right now in Afghanistan who are in different provinces of Afghanistan, in the east, in the west, in the south of Afghanistan. And I see how resilient they are and how passionate they are to learn more. And the other day I was discussing this with one of my friends, and I said, the girls that I used to teach before 2021 in Afghanistan, honestly, the girls that I teach now, they're more intelligent, they're more passionate, they know more about the world today than the girls that I taught before 2021. And this is very interesting. It's like an irony. At that time, we had access to education, especially in urban areas. Ladies could go to school and get a formal education. Now that girls do not have access to education, how is that possible? It is possible because of people who are I think one of the biggest reasons is that there are people in Afghanistan who are spreading awareness about education in Afghanistan. How should those girls, how should those youngsters get educated, even though they do not have access to formal education channels in Afghanistan, mainly through the internet. So as I've written down here, education gives the girls, the boys in Afghanistan, the tools to shape a better future for themselves and their communities. it all boils down to that quote. We have the struggles associated with education, and we have the fruit associated with education. We do not have a very high literacy rate in Afghanistan, and besides the fact that there are a lot of reasons why Afghanistan is in this conflict and why Afghanistan is in this situation today, one of the reasons is that we do not have a very high literacy rate in Afghanistan. That's one of the core reasons, and why Afghanistan has been kept in this situation. That's a political discussion, and that's a political perspective. But for me, one of the reasons why we are in this situation is because of our literacy rate. And you see how important education is for the youngsters in Afghanistan. Keeping Afghanistan's situation that I described in mind, I want everyone to individually, and I'm hoping that you have a pen and a piece of paper, do this activity. So you have 7 minutes to reflect on a time when you overcame a challenge through education or community support. You had a challenge, and how did you overcome it through education? How did education help you to overcome that challenge? Or how did support from your community members help you overcome that? So are we clear on that? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, it's clear.
All right. So you got 7 minutes. Let's do this activity. And I'm hoping you're gonna write down. And then we will, every one of us, not everyone, but most of you will get the opportunity to talk about your experience. So because of the time constraints, I think I'm hoping that all of you might have written down something. So does anyone want to share about their experience? You can just unmute yourselves and
I can share something. So I'm based in Palestine, and for so long, the Palestinian voice has been demonized. It has been silenced. And I remember as a student, I also was starting to lead an initiative that was mainly about introducing creative writing to the Palestinian community so that they would become the authors of their own story, and we would assist them through creative writing to deliver the message, to talk about their daily lives under occupation.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Does anybody else want to share? How about Ataullah? You want to go for it?
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Yeah, actually, I overcome an issue. It's a long time ago. I mean, 1 year ago. While in our neighbor, there is a family. They have like 3 or 4 girls only. They don't have any siblings, like a son. So their family always constrain, I mean, give the restriction to the girls and not going to a school or somewhere else. But I always, me and someone, but I don't go there personally, but by the help of someone, I said to them, like to encourage them to go to a school. Like actually, in our community, most people don't like about the modern world, like starting to going to a school, community school, like that. But I every day, or not every day, but weekly or someone else going there, also sending someone to their home, like to go to a school, like to encourage them to go to a school. But today I have seen that three of their girls are going to school now. So I think that's the thing. I can say that like I can encourage them. This I overcame at this project. This was a challenging. It's not the person. It's challenging, but in our every community, in the whole community are going same kind of problem. But still there is something left to do. I think that's what I can say. I can overcome by supporting them. Just telling them to someone else to go to send them in the school something. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ataullah. It was a very nice experience that you shared with us, and I connect with that. There are a lot of people who do not want more modernity in their communities, and they pose a hindrance to people getting educated, and that's what we see in Afghanistan right now. Anyone else want to jump in? So, moving on. Let's talk about some community-based initiatives for change. Now, as you all know, when you live in a society, most of us come from countries like Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Palestine, and places like that. We do not have individualistic societies, and we live in communities. And in those communities, we have mini communities. A lot of the times we cannot solve issues that we have in our communities individually. So we have to come up with solutions that involve the community in general. For example, the education issue that we have in Afghanistan. So by working together, we can create an environment that values education and provide opportunities for youth. In our example, in the example of Afghans for Afghans Foundation, we were just a group of 4 volunteer teachers who started this initiative, and we initially taught hundreds of young girls. It's a number that we could not have achieved if we were teaching in person because of the accommodation issues and stuff like that. But thanks to Google Meet and using our minds on how to keep the students engaged, we achieved that number and that milestone. So in my experience, in my practical experience of teaching people and getting involved in community engagement initiatives, let's talk about some ways to involve communities in promoting education in underserved areas. So there are 3 things as a youngster that you can think about. We have financial issues, we have political issues, and we have issues with religion. So let's talk about financial issues. A lot of the times, when you want to start a project or an initiative, it needs a financial push, you know. It's not always that you can do it for free, or you can do it with very little financial means. There are times where you have to spend some money on a project, and a lot of the youngsters are scared of it, and I understand that, I get it. But it does not mean, if you do not have the money, it does not mean that you should not be able to implement a perfect idea, you know. There are people who you can reach out to. So there are two things you can do. First of all, you can reach out to people who are going to help you. You can reach out to your parents. You can reach out to your relatives who are rich. You can reach out to the people in your community, you know, to the rich people or the people who are willing to help. They do not have to be rich for it. For a project, let's say there's a school you want to make, you know, let's say you want to make a primary school. You live in a village. The village does not have any school. You want to make a primary school, and obviously it needs a financial push. You have to rent a place, you know, you have to hire a couple of teachers. Looking at the size of the village, you might not need a lot of financial means, but still you need some money. So what you can do as a youngster is forget about all those past grudges, forget about all those societal barriers, and directly talk to people who are going to help you in the community, in your family. Do a donation, do a fundraiser, you know. That's one of the issues that I wanted to address. You can also reach out to international organizations in your countries. There are people in Afghanistan, international organizations that help people like me and you to start initiatives like this. Like UNESCO is one of such organizations. If you give them a proposal, and if your proposal is convincing enough and it's genuine enough, it can give you some financial support. So you have to do some research, you know. As a youngster, as an intelligent youngster, I think every one of us are capable of doing sufficient research on issues like this. Well, there are political issues involved right now. If I want to make a school in Afghanistan, what is the political issue? It is the de facto regime not allowing girls to go to school. How can I deal with it? How can I deal with it smartly, you know, so that I'm not target of persecution, political persecution from my community, from the government, from the people ruling the area, you know. I have to be very smart about it. This is one factor that you have always to keep in mind. I'm not telling you to be scared. I'm not telling you to be afraid. I'm just telling you to be aware of your surroundings, to be aware of the realities that exist in our communities. A lot of the times we imagine what's that word? Utopian communities for ourselves. You know, whatever we have in our heads, we imagine people to be like that, but that's not right. There are people who are very different than us, and we have to, as community members, as youngsters, we have to keep things in line. It's not important for you to agree with them, but at least know the realities. And religious, that's one of the biggest issues right now in Afghanistan. The girls are not allowed to get educated. The de facto regime is saying religion does not allow it. Come on, our religion allows girls to get educated, you know. So you can reach out to people who have the authority, you know. You can reach out to clerics in issues like this. Obviously not inciting anyone politically, but at least knowing what religion says about it, so that you are able to convince the community members, you know, on issues like this. Even let's imagine in Afghanistan that in which girls are allowed to go to school by the government, but still there are communities, there are people who might have the idea that, okay, we do not want our ladies to get educated. And I know of such communities in India. I know of such communities in Bangladesh. I know of such communities in Middle East, you know, and this is a harsh reality. This is a sad reality that exists. And as youth, as modern youth, as people, as enlightened youth, how should we be able to garner enough religious support in this regard? Now, you and me, we are the youth. What is our role of what is the role of education in empowering us? You know, we are limited when it comes to finance, when it comes to money, but what can education do to empower us? So I've written down here, education is a transformative tool that not only empowers individuals, but also uplifts entire communities. I've seen this practically. I've been to a lot of villages in Afghanistan, and honestly, there are villages in which only a couple of educated people have changed the mindset of the whole village. And there was a village in Herat, province of Afghanistan. It's on the border with Iran, and in that village, many people did not want their girls to get educated, you know. And some of my friends, they were teachers and people working with the United Nations, and they had their reasons, you know. They had their religious reasons, they had their political perspective, and they had their social problems that were somehow rational at that point in time. That very small group of educated people, honestly, incredibly, they make them change their mindset. They made them change their perspective about education. And most of the people in that village, they are now fighting for the rights of their female children. And that's just incredible to see how educated youth can transform communities. So at Afghans for Afghans Foundation, we've seen firsthand how access to education changes lives, particularly for young girls. I've seen students of mine learning English and digital literacy in one of our programs, and now they are in other countries. They're in the UK or the US or Germany, pursuing their higher education. And this is an experience that I can share with all of you. This is a first-hand experience. It's education is incredibly powerful, and as Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon in the world, you know, that you can use to change the world, and it's really true. So I want to quickly tell you about the role of technology in looking at the time, the role of technology in initiatives like this. So a lot of the times, what happens is that we have our restraints, we have our constraints, you know, we have our challenges in every project. But I think you can use technology to solve a lot of your issues. Like I told you, in instructional instructional projects like mine, we use technology at our benefit. You know, we used Google Meet, and still we use free sources available online, like YouTube. We sometimes we upload videos in our asynchronous sessions where students are not able to join online. We upload videos for them where they can watch the video, you know, and then they can do their homework. We use tools like free tools like PDF converters and stuff like that, you know. So you can always use technology without zero or very limited financial means at your benefit and to benefit your project and broadly your community. So before I end this discussion, I want you to think about this question, and I want you to when we're gone, when we finish this meeting, I want you to take out a pen and a piece of paper and think about it. What action can you take within the next month to contribute to youth empowerment in your community? Do you think of anything that you can do within the next month to empower the youth in your community? It does not have to be big. It does not have to be something really colossal, something like, okay, I want to educate thousands of young girls in my country. You can start from affecting even a very small group of people positively. What can you do? So that's it. That's it from my side. We talked about how we can use education and community engagement to transform our communities. And I hope this discussion, this workshop was effective enough for you people to I hope there is something that you guys can take away from it, and that I hope it inspires you to work for community engagement, to work for the betterment of your community, of your communities or your respective communities, wherever you live. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Shadeen, for assisting me with arranging the seminar. So if there are any questions, I will be really happy to answer them and to talk to you people about your concerns or whatever questions you have. We got one, Ataullah.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the first part of your presentation. You show that you offer, some courses, for example, some program like digital literacy.
Ataullah, if you don't mind, I think we can't hear you clearly.
Yeah, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm talking about the first part of your presentation. You show something like what you offer, what we offer. At this point, I can say like digital literacy or computer basic skill or something like that you offer. So in your initiative, maybe you are offering to your student. So is there any things like is this those opportunity are exclusively for for the student of your Afghanistan, or is there any ways that this opportunity can get from the people, from the person from other countries, especially like from Bangladesh?
That's a very good question, Ataullah. Thank you for posing it. Actually, we are working with specifically exclusively with the females in Afghanistan currently at this point in time, because a lot of our focus and the people who are working with me, the volunteers, they just want to work for the females in Afghanistan because they're literally going through a crisis, but I've been thinking about it, especially after the conference. I want to expand this project of mine to places like Bangladesh and Palestine. But I hope I'm able to continue that in the future, and I'm sure I'll be reaching out to you first if there is any thing like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope
I'm
that
talking.
answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm talking it to you because, as you know, I'm also a Global Engagement Fellow, 2024 and 2025. Uh, I'm also implementing a community-based initiative here. I already discussed with Jar here also. I'm also, in the next month, I'm going to implement it in our community, like empowering the youth also similarly. Like the name of this initiative is Next Gen's Rohingya Network. So it's about like empowering our community through technology, like digital literacy, and also leadership, like educational workshop, how to learn, how to get resource into online, this type of thing. So that's why I'm asking from you about this, like similar thing you're doing there also. So that's why I'm interested. If you
Mhm.
have any such kind of online program, then like if you offer something like you said before, like if you got any ways to get, you will contact with me. That's great. but you can we can make a hands like also giving and empowering our community also from abroad or something, learning from abroad something. So thank you, that's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. It's very nice to hear from you, and I'm sure if in the future I'm able to expand my project, I'm sure I'll be reaching out to you. I'll for everyone's reference, I'll write my email address and phone number if anyone wants to reach out to me. But before that, there's a question. So in the chat box. That's a very good question. And I have been asked this question before, people in the Get Engaged conference.
Maybe you can read the question, Ibaad, because I'm not sure everyone can see it.
Yes, there is a question that says, since Afghan girls are not allowed, this is a direct message. Since Afghan girls are not allowed to get an education, how does your NGO make sure to help them without putting them at risk? This is a challenge that everyone in Afghanistan is facing. Students, especially ladies who want to go to foreign countries for getting an education, they're seriously at risk. And currently, the government has imposed something by not allowing people to go on scholarships, but because we mainly offer our courses online, and they can do it at home without anyone knowing. What we do at our Aura Foundation is we give them a set of instructions. We tell them not to tell anyone about it. You just sit at your home and join classes and do your assignments, and not even share that with your close relatives. And we do not have any official presence in Afghanistan. That's good. So we mainly operate online. So that's what we usually do. And the thing that we do is keep our mouths shut about it, especially not exposing our students, not sharing any data related to our students about to anyone, whether it's foreign people or people in Afghanistan. So that's what we're doing. So we have, thank you very much, Nahid. Thank you for listening to me. So I think Natalisa has a question. I'll read it out. So Shadin, we have some minutes, right?
Yeah, let's take 2 more minutes. Sorry, everyone. 2 more minutes, and then we will close. Let's have one final question or some comments. Let's hear from Natalisa.
I'll have to read it out. So the thing that I keep in mind is when you mentioned we should work together for the good of the community, makes me think that a leader has to collaborate with others to really have an impact. The work is not individual. Certainly, we should work on ourselves to be better, to better collaborate, but the whole work will be more impactful together. That's all about teamwork. Honestly, in this world, especially if you want to do some civic engagement, you cannot do it alone. And this is what I have learned. In the past, I would call myself a lone wolf, and this was what I would call myself. But that's not true in the practical world. You have to have teamwork. You have to be a team guy, to be able to achieve your goals, especially if you're doing some community engagement and work for the betterment of your community. So I agree with it. So quickly, I will write my WhatsApp and my email address. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, please feel free to reach out with any questions or any support that you need with regards to this topic, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Thank you so much, Ibaad, for delivering such an impactful workshop. And I know I learned a lot from the various examples that you provided, and thank you also for stressing the importance of the role of youth actually in less resourced regions, and the role of youth in conflict zones, and how with education we are able to make a lasting difference in these communities, wherever we are in Afghanistan or in Palestine or Bangladesh or other areas and countries in the world. So thanks again for your valuable insights, and thank you all for attending today's workshop. We will see you next week, hopefully in our next workshop, and I will be sharing the details via email. Thank you again, everyone, and have a great rest of your days. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.